And good evening. I just actually got back from going out to dinner with a friend. It's pretty nice to get out. And that's one of the good things about teaching NGU. I get to finish if I want to finish at 7:30, and that's typically about 8:30 when VIP Kid starts. And so anyway, I thought I would. I kind of listened to this a little bit. But I thought I'd listen to it today just while I'm on here and kind of react to this guy. I've always liked his videos. He's a very funny guy, but apparently, about 12 days ago, September 30th, he put out a video showing why I left teaching after 13 years. And there's been a lot of videos of people who have been leaving the field of education, and I've always been interested in hearing why, and I think I'd like to hear his point of view of why he left it. So I think I would like to react to that. Maybe I should do it the other way. Let me see if I can. That there. Oh no. Well, no, we'll do it this way. Alrighty. Maybe I should make that bigger. Oh, I guess that would work. Alrighty. Let's see what we can do here. Let me turn him up a little bit, the volume.
When I tell people I left teaching after 13 years, the general public's always like, why? But teachers are usually like, take me with you.
Yeah,
I wanted to
he's
keep
right.
teaching. I kept
A lot of
telling
them do
myself
that.
it'll get better, but then the unthinkable happened. They blocked YouTube. Just kidding, of course.
That is something that when I would use YouTube, I'd plan these lessons at home. I'd find YouTube videos that went along with it because, again, children are learning through YouTube and videos, and YouTube is a wonderful resource. And then I would get to the school, and it would be blocked. It could be something as simple as Schoolhouse Rock, or it could be a video on a nice cartoon video about reducing fractions. And then I'd get there and be blocked. Or it'd be blocked one day, it'd be open the next day, and then it'd be blocked again. For some reason, it would be blocked again. And you'd have to go through a whole rigmarole just to get someone to unblock it. And finally, I just gave up, and I thought that was silly having to apply to unblock a video about reducing fractions. And so that would be something that was. But yet, I would see students on computer lab time sneaking onto YouTube videos that weren't very appropriate. Those weren't blocked, but they would block conjugating a verb. Just stupid. I never understood the reasoning why they would block certain videos. I don't know, but yeah, that would drive me bonkers too. But he's talking about COVID. Oh, okay.
I'm talking about COVID. The only silver lining with COVID is that it gave us a massive chance to change the system for the better. Teachers had value, districts had rescue money, local decisions were made by schools themselves.
And yeah, because the state and the federal, they weren't doing anything for us. The state was basically, they kept their hand, that was their opportunity to step in and give great guidance. A lot of people, they receive a lot of complaints about, like, what do they do up there? Especially in West Virginia, it's very top heavy. And most states, I'm sure, are like that in education. And so this was a perfect opportunity for people at the state level to show what they all do. Because there's some there, I still don't know what they do. And so that was a perfect opportunity for them to lead and make themselves show that they're worth their weight in salt. Did they do that? No. It was, they put their head in the sand and told the districts to do, what they felt they needed to do. In West Virginia, all 55 districts had to come up with their own plan. And so there we go for that. And then sometimes in some districts, it's up each school. And so you had 55 different things going on across the state because we have 55 counties here in West Virginia. And yeah, the state really dropped the ball on that part. No guidance, funding wasn't there. And then I remember when it first went on pandemic, teachers were, they were respected. That didn't last very long. It turned into, well, you teachers just want to get off from work. So.
And suddenly it looked like the tide might change, but like every Fast and Furious movie, it got worse. Instead of doing a left turn for success, we went into the woods and did donuts and tore up all the grass and handed teachers a bag of seed and some tweezers and said, here, you fix it.
Yeah.
But COVID was not necessarily the breaking point for me anyways. It was just a cog in the mighty wheel of failures that were handing to teachers and schools and ultimately being passed on to your kids. So here are a few more reasons I quit. The first reason was lack of support. All you ever want as a teacher is to know that someone has your back.
Yeah, we don't need. I used to have one principal. He would like buy us ice cream, like from Dairy Queen or something, which was fine, and I appreciated that. This showed that he went on his way to buy us ice cream. But then I would have some principals who would just hide, and they would just appear when they wanted to swoop in and try to save the day on something, or if something big was happening and they knew their name would be glorified. Or if they wanted to catch somebody doing something wrong, they would hide and then find an opportunity to catch somebody doing something wrong, and then you would see them. So, and I've had some very horrible administrators in my past, trust me. Oops.
But over the years, the support avenues we had turned into support cul-de-sacs, dead ends, nowhere to go. Teaching is a very lonely profession, and not even farmersonly.com can help us. Seriously, it's just you and the kids. But it used to be rewarding outside of the classroom, with teachers being viewed favorably in the community and among the general public. Then slowly, 9 out of 10 interactions became negative. Admin coming to rooms to look for things to complain about, parental phone.
I had a principal. I was a behavior disorder teacher, and they were able to give, I can't remember how many unannounced visits they could make per year. And he would show up. If you ever taught in a behavior disorder classroom, by the end of the day you are wore out. And so there were some days I would have to break up fights 5 times a day, keep them from killing each other, get them busy doing stuff. And by 2:30 in class, and say school out at 3, if they wanted to lay their head down and go to sleep, I was like, just lay your head down and go to sleep. Well, here come the principal walk in, and he would make up my evaluation as I let them sleep. I shouldn't let them sleep. Why would you come to a behavior disorders teacher's classroom at the end of the day? Why would you do any teacher like that? And then dock them for it's yeah.
Calls placing the blame on you, district initiatives that were entirely unrealistic, even doing away with the teacher tax credit. You name it. Sometimes teachers just want to feel supported in what we do. Why is it that Chipotle giving us BOGO burritos one day a year is the only time we feel special?
I know they did that.
The second reason was the consistency. The teaching profession in general is about as consistent as in-run stock. Every year we get new employees, new systems, new tests, new guidelines, all at a much higher cost to the taxpayer, mind you.
If you work in special education, I feel like we get new paperwork to fill out every year. The IEPs got longer. They wanted different details worded in a different way, in a different format, because the way they taught you the year before apparently is now non-compliant, and they want it worded a different way this year. And then the following year, they'll want it to either go back or they'll find a different way of doing it. So it'll be in compliance with so an IEP I wrote this year is not compliant the following year. And then you would get blamed on it. Well, you should know how to do that. We trained you this year. Well, I've learned 19 different ways of doing this. And you were blamed by somebody who's not writing IEPs, someone who's in charge of enacting these different changes in policies. And so, and they would change it like in March, like right in the middle of IEP season. And now I think the district I just left, they're moving to fall IEP. So bless their hearts, they're having to redo all these IEPs again that we just did in May. And I'm sure a lot of them are not compliant now, because over the summer they probably passed a new policy, and they're probably told the directors that we need to do this or it's not compliant. According here, it's never consistent. It's something I tell my students at the university now. I'm going to teach you this way, but by the time you graduate, it's liable to change 4 or 5 more times. So I'm just going to tell you the general things of what we're going to do here. So, yeah, so it's ever changing, even testing and all that.
And the training we do receive is minimal and like never ongoing. Then just when we felt like we were getting the hang of one system, bam, here's a new system thrown into your lap. Imagine completing a Walmart register training and the next day they hand you a mechanic shirt and tell you to go change oil filters. Not knowing what to expect year after year takes the attention teachers should be using to focus on the students and shifts it into the stress of learning a new system. How
Mhm.
could teachers show students how to learn if we're in a constant state of trying to figure it out ourselves? Hey, here's the new Call of Duty game. Show this child how to play. It just came out. Nobody knows how to play it. See, I told you. We should privatize gaming.
Uh, that's a really hot button issue there. They do this, and then if you say you can't do something, well, then again, teachers get blamed, and we should privatize, education like that. Send them on a private school, which I'm for some private schools, but it's not for everybody. Yeah, it's a mess.
What? Third reason, control. If the districts seem half as interested in dictating and regulating discipline as they do my lesson plans, then I might still be teaching. Every day of instruction is mapped out, but not every class is able to learn on that schedule. Throw in the variables of students being taken out of class for testing and the different learning styles. Oh, and the 50 or so IEPs I handle every year. And you're lucky if teachers even make it past the first day.
And those the higher up administrators some of them will, not all of them, some of them will speak down to you like you should know exactly what you should be doing. And why aren't you doing it this certain way? You better do it this certain way, or we're going to put a letter in your file. I used to work in a district that they always end their emails in, a failure to comply will result in a letter in your file, or something like that. That district, I was a one and done, and I just worked my 1 year and left. That's a horrible thing. And they always jumped on every bandwagon. That was some ed guru who may have taught a month in the classroom, but they were able to make millions off a certain theory or program, and they would fall in love with it. But yeah, and then they would come in and tell you how to do your job when they probably taught in a classroom for at most 3 or 4 years, 15, 20 years ago, like that, and talk down to you if you can't do it this certain way. So, which I always wonder how they would do it if they were in the classroom. Would they, be able to do all these things? A county that I just left, they hired 2 people in the higher administration at the county level who were it's all about power and control, and it is becoming very miserable there. So it's a lot of control factors there.
There are too many hands at the higher levels
Like
trying to create jobs to micromanage teachers. And most of those people have never seen the inside of a classroom. Do you want a kid learning the curriculum of the teacher that knows the needs of the student, or the curriculum from a failed principal that was assigned a desk job 10 miles from the nearest class?
A principal fails, and they give them a desk job at the central office, more pay, and make them in charge of more things. That's welcome to public ed.
Classroom. Unfortunately, it does look like there's a mass exodus of teachers leaving the profession, and many more that want to get out. The sad reality is a lot of teachers actually stay for the health insurance, but the entire reason they need the health insurance is because their job is causing them work-related stress, injuries, and illnesses, and classroom viruses. Then there are the teachers that love to teach and wouldn't have it any other way. In the words of Will Ferrell in Old School, you're crazy, man. I love you, but you're crazy. I personally had to step away and enjoy being on the outside looking in, because I think of it this way. Hey, at least the jokes I make can't get me fired anymore. When I tell people I left teaching after 13 years, the general public...
And he makes I love his videos, because he's always like this. He was doing this before he resigned, this past September, I guess. And so I like his take on different on education and different things, and he's pretty much accurate, even though he's very hilarious. I always like his. Let me see what his name is here. I subscribe to him, so if you're a teacher in education, you may want to subscribe to him. He's very, very funny. Devin, Siebold. So yeah, go subscribe to him. He's a very funny person. Here, I think I saw this one already. Yeah. He talks about he was fired for 48 hours. I ain't gonna tell the story because he's a much better storyteller than I. And something that's very typical that someone in the county level administration would do. They're not. They take the hard way of doing things, and don't think of you as like a valued employee. They won't. They'll tell you you're valued, but then they'll treat you like you're garbage. So, teachers visiting doctor's office. Yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd react to one of these videos that I saw today. Now, this one, when I saw it, I didn't realize he'd left, and it's just a week ago. It looks like just a week ago he posted that. It's got 75,000 views already. And yeah, and I was surprised because I thought he was in first. Then I thought maybe he's been out for a while, and then no, apparently he's not been out for a while. So I don't know. I don't know his whole history, but anyway, yeah, it's changed a lot, and I'd like to hear more about why other people. I left the classroom because I got a job in higher ed again. I used to teach in higher ed. I went from public school to higher ed, to public school for a good number of years, and then back in higher ed, and it was a big sigh of relief. I could not see myself, especially in the district I was in, and the way the county, the higher administrators were the direction they wanted to go was definitely not what I agree with. Which I'm sure if they heard me say that, they'll probably be arrogant and be like, "Well, I don't give up if you care or not." That's their mentality about employees that work in that school district. It's their way, the smart way, and then everyone else is a bunch of dummies. So anyway, thank you, and all right, thank you for watching.